I looked through my binoculars, and the 7 people that I saw through them were nowhere to be found. I slowly got out of my hiding spot, and I started to walk through the parks, until I heard multiple screams. I quickly went to hide behind a booth. I looked through the binoculars again, and I saw 3 employees running in fear from 2 other mutants. But they didn't stand a chance. I saw the mutants tearing 2 of the employees apart, piece by piece. Their screams still haunt me to this day. I got a good look at 2 of them, though. The mutants were Grover and Oscar the Grouch. I grabbed a rock from the ground and I threw it to my right. They turned their heads and they looked to see where that noise came from. I got out and I started to fire my rifle at those mutant freaks. They growled and started to run after me. I fired a grenade at them, and one of them went down but was still half alive. The other mutant, Oscar, was jumping and trying to catch me, but I was too fast. I was running and shooting at the same time. As it got close to me, I hit the mutant with the stock of my rifle, and then I body slammed it. I stomped my foot on its head, till it was dead. I looked over to my right to see the mutant Grover still trying to catch me after both of its legs got blown off from the grenade. I walked over to the creature. I grabbed its head, and I took my katana out, cutting it off. After that, I took out 1 little bottle of root beer and started to drink it. I then got up and put my katana back inside the scabbard. I went over to the corpse of the dead employees. I searched through their pockets to find anything useful, till I found a card with a woman's name on it. This looked like one of the cards that people used to enter unauthorized areas. So I take the card, including 1 set of keys. I start to make my way to the same entrance to the asylum. I got there, and I saw the bodies of those employees that I killed earlier were gone. I suspected them to know that I was here, I thought. I entered the same way to the asylum that I did an hour ago. I arrived at the asylum and checked through the window to see if any more of those mutants were there. The coast was clear. I opened the door and I entered the asylum once again, and I was ready to find out who was behind all of this. I walked through the hallways of the asylum, and as I turned left, I saw more and more dead bodies of the staff, torn apart by those monsters, and I saw that they had 2 large bite marks on their necks. I continued walking and searching every room to find this room that I saw on the map. No luck. Well, until I entered this one room that had numbers written all over it. I knew who wrote this. And obviously, it was Count. I turned on my light and I looked around the room to look for any secret alcoves that led to this guy. I didn't see anything, so I just left at first. But before I could leave the room, I heard this chilling laugh coming from above me. I stopped in my tracks and I heard the mutant get down from the ceiling, stating, "Hello, Mr. Daniel Carter. Welcome to my palace." I heard the figure from behind dropping from the ground as he said this. "Turn around." I turned around. It was a mutated Count. My God, he was exactly the same from the picture that I took. I knew that he was the one who killed those staff members back there. "Now, what made you come to this place?" No one would have ever found this place until now. I couldn't even think because, like I said earlier, Count Von creeped me out the most. But I don't know how this asshole knew my name. A lot of questions were going through my mind at this point. Count Von was just looking at me with his fangs. He was covered in a lot of blood from killing those staffs back there. The mutant then lunged at me, and right before I got my rifle, the creature yanked it out of my hand and threw it across the room. He then picked me up, took its tongue out, and licked my neck. He was about to bite my neck until I put my bare hands in his mouth, and I ripped the bottom jaws completely. It let go of me, but it waved its hand and threw me against the wall hard. I was on the ground, not being able to get up, and then I looked to my left. I saw Count Von getting up and was hissing at me. while I was on the floor pretending to be dead. I grabbed the .44 Magnum very slowly so that it wouldn't notice anything. I hear the creature walking towards me, and I feel his large hands picking me up. Mutant Count said, "Perhaps you're not as strong as we thought, Mr. Carter." I raised my hand and I pointed the .44 Magnum to its head. "You thought I was dead, Count. Think again, asshole." I shot Count Vaughn in the head, and it was dead, finally. I walked over to the lifeless body of that creature, and the .44 Magnum made a huge hole. I picked up my rifle and I got out of that room. I needed to know who was behind all of this. I then approached the giant door, and I had no idea where it led to. I took out the map and I looked to see that this door led down to Mr. Hooper's project room. I turned my goggles on and I headed down the dark stairs. And while I was walking, I see more and more dead bodies of laboratory people on the stairs. These bastards didn't stand a chance against those mutants, I thought. After walking down 8 flights, I see a big door named Mr. Hooper's project room. I looked through the window and I saw that this room was very clean, naturally looking like a laboratory. The room had photos of these mutants, and also had documents and other things. I opened the door with caution. I got inside with my rifle raised, and I found the light switch. I turned off my goggles and flipped the light switch on, and I was greeted with a guy pointing a gun at me from behind. He told me to turn around, but instead I took the shotgun out of his hands. I threw it against the room, and I pointed my rifle at him. "Please don't shoot me, man. Please don't." His demeanor changed instantly, and I knew exactly who that guy was. It was one of my friends from elementary school years and years ago, and we met again at last. What do you mean by that? I turned around and took off my balaclava mask. "Daniel, I knew you'd be surprised," I replied. We both hugged each other. "Daniel, how did you get down here? Where did you get all those weapons from?" Chris said, "Listen, I'll tell you later, but now I need to know, are you the only one down here?" I asked curiously. "No, I'm not the only one down here. It was just me and 4 more survivors." "Who were the survivors?" I asked. "Do you remember Jake, Benjamin, Catherine, and Amy?" "Let me guess, they're here, aren't they?" "Well, yeah," he replied. "Here, let me take you to the secret safe room," Chris said. "Safe room?" I said. "Yeah, we found this room while we were running away from things." "Oh, okay." He took me to the safe room, which was up in the attic. We got up there, and Chris called out to our friends. "Who's that behind you?" One of them asked. "You mean him?" He replied. "Yes, who is he?" I knew who she was when I heard that voice. It was Amy. "Hey, can you take off that mask so we all know who you are?" Jake asked. I took off my balaclava mask and I revealed my face to them. They were staring at me with eyes wide open. Catherine said, "Daniel?" "Yeah, it's me, Catherine," I replied. "Dude, we haven't seen you since, 3rd grade?" Benjamin piped up. "Yeah, a long time," I said. "Daniel, how did you get down here?" Amy asked. And I didn't respond. Chris then asked how I got down here again, and I told them to sit down. They sat down on the floor, and I told them everything. 8 minutes after I got back from work, I received a video call from my sister Carla. She told me, as she and Emily were leaving a park, a male employee in the park started to follow them suspiciously. Her and Emily went to hide in a gift shop behind the counter. I see multiple people grabbing my sisters, tying them up and putting duct tape to their mouths, and then a man picking up the phone telling me that he has friends that will do any damage if anyone finds out our secrets. Of course, I was paraphrasing here. After that, I went to the park after it closed, got in, killed some of the employees that tried to attack me, and some other mutants as well. Luckily, I got them out just in time. I took them to my friend's house, I came back to end their shit once and for all, and that was essentially it. Damn, Chris said. Oh, wait a minute, so you fought off those monsters all by yourself? Benjamin asked. Yeah, it wasn't so easy, I replied. So that's why we heard gunfire from below, Jake said. Daniel, where did you get all that gear and guns? Catherine asked. Well, it's kind of a long story, I replied. Hey, Chris, I said, turning my attention to him. Do you guys happen to have any weapons to protect yourself from those mutants? Well, we have a fire axe, a baton, 2 pistols, and a shotgun. After he said that, we all stopped, as we heard a familiar laugh coming from below. And we knew that it was from Elmo.